Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Module 3 CPE training. I'm Ilayana, and I'm the Mental Wellbeing Lead here at Pulse. As has been and will be repeated throughout these modules, if you're unsure of who the Pulse leads and staff are for your current cohort, check the Meet the Professional staff page on Canvas. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to share and discuss tips for communication and active listening. When trying to communicate with others, there's a variety of influences to be aware of to maximize communication ease. The first is the listening environment you're in. You can work to create a listening environment that is respectful towards the other person you're talking with and comfortable for the both of you. Questions to ask about the listening environment are, does it provide privacy? Is it comfortable? Is it quiet? Are there potential interruptions? If you feel the environment is conducive to conversation, you can then begin to think about the types of conversation you should be aware of. There is verbal and nonverbal communication. Verbal is communication shared through conversation, and nonverbal includes a great deal of facial expression, eye contact, gestures, and body language. Being conscious of someone's body language and even your own body language through a conversation can help you understand the general comfort of all parties involved in the conversation. The CPE training provides the helpful acronym ROLES, which stands for relaxed, open, lean in, eye contact, and square up. These are helpful tips for how to keep your body language neutral and inviting for the conversation. Being relaxed, keeping your arms and legs uncrossed in a relaxed manner, while still being leaned in and maintaining eye contact helps show that you're engaged in what's being discussed. Squaring up means your body facing the person or the people you're talking to. It means making sure you're showing them you're present with them as opposed to angled at the door or like you're uninterested. The next step is not just body language, but mentally being present when communicating with others. Practicing mindfulness as a listener has the benefit of allowing for your own self-reflection. Please note, though, that while listening to someone, it's not the best time to start checking and evaluating yourself when you're trying to be there for them. But you can take the time on your own to assess how aware of your own prejudices, beliefs, and emotions you are. Action items to be a mindful listener as someone else is sharing information with you means focusing on listening to the speaker. This means suspending personal judgment and meeting the person where they're at, not where you want them to be. This can be hard to do. Some people you won't like where their train of thought has gone to solve an issue, or you may find you disagree with their stance on a conversation topic, but respectfully, mindfully listening means accepting their right to their own choice. Something key that we should take the opportunity to do more of, and that we often assume isn't an option in a conversation, is referring your peer to someone else. It's okay to say that you're not the right person to be having this conversation with. You're allowed to set the boundary you think your conversation would be better met with a professional who can understand the issue better. As a peer educator, our job only goes so far. We don't keep confidentiality to the degree that a therapist can, and we must make it known to those confiding in us that if something is shared that warrants breaking confidentiality, we have an obligation to do so. This doesn't mean blocking someone from conversation topics, but letting them know that if they need help with a serious situation, we're going to help get them to the right person to talk to. Another aspect of being a peer educator listener simply means encouraging them to continue. Use hand motions, head nods, brief turns like or I hear you to prompt the conversation forward. Aside from just nudging them forward with nods, you can also build conversation bridges. Encourage the individual to build on a previous point they had just brought up. Say things like, what happened next? And then what? Tell me more. These are classic and common things we think of naturally to say, but sometimes in a peer educator environment, being so focused on letting them have the floor for sharing that we can forget we are active listeners in this process. The final bit of information I'd like to share in this video is about motivational interviewing. Motivational interviewing is a one-on-one approach used by counselors and those trained in this topic. It's a way of encouraging the speaker into drawing conclusions from what they're sharing and making their own action plan. The acronym OARS is used as a tip for motivational interviewing. OARS stands for open-ended questions, affirmations, reflective listening, and summaries. Open-ended questions means prompting the conversation forward. It means asking questions like, why did you choose to continue forward with that job? Or how do you see you two rebuilding a friendship? How do you find yourself drawn to these types of actions? They're questions that prompt more of an answer than simply one or two words. Affirmation in motivational interviewing looks like statements and gestures that recognize the speaker's strength. They build confidence in one's ability to change. Reflective listening is the third aspect. It closes the loop in communication to ensure breakdowns don't occur. It's the key for building trust and fostering motivations to change. A helpful tip to practice reflective listening is to paraphrase. Paraphrasing is reflective listening, which reframes the statements in your own words to build clarity, test hypotheses, and enhance relationships. Summaries help ensure that there is clear communication between the speaker and the listener. Summarizes several points and/or feelings of the speaker. Though I gave some previous examples of open-ended questions, I'd like to finish this video by providing some examples of all types of OARS motivational listening. For open-ended questions, one example would be, can you tell me about your relationship with your roommate? Instead of, do you have a good relationship with your roommate? For affirmations, you can also say, you handled yourself really well in that situation. Reflective listening can look like, it sounds like you. Summaries can be, here's what I've heard. Tell me if I've missed anything. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I hope that it's provided interesting understandings of how to converse and listen to those that come to you.